This is Robert Demers for Conman here at the New York Comic Con, and I'm here with Noel MacNeal, which you may recognize him as a little bit more fuzzier Bear from the Big Blue House. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. Hello.
How's the convention been treating you?
It's been great. I was on this great panel yesterday organized by my friend Mike Lopez, who's part of the New York City public school system, and it was all about how to use comics and the arts in curriculum, and it was great. We did it last year, and this year was even like twice as many people showed up for it, and so it's been great. And then today I did my own little how to be a puppeteer workshop and showed people, kids and grown-ups, how easy it is to be a puppeteer.
How did you first get interested in becoming a puppeteer?
Well, when I was a kid, there was a lot more puppets on TV than there are now. So I would see shows like Captain Kangaroo and Sherry Lewis and even Paul Winchell and Kukla, Fran and Ollie. But then I remember as a kid, one Sunday night around 6:30, there was this half-hour show. And it was hosted by two puppets talking about this brand new show coming on the next day on public television. And their names were Bert and Ernie. And it was this brand new show called Sesame Street. And then when I saw those puppets, that hooked me. And of course, during high school, that was the height of the Muppet Show for me. And so that's when I said, I want to be a puppeteer. Because if this guy, Jim Henson, can do it, then I can do it.
And then working for the Jim Henson Company must have been a dream come true.
It has been. I started working on Sesame Street, first as what's called the Wrangler, the person who takes care of the puppets. And then I started doing characters like, for a while I was every snuffle-upper relative Snuffy ever had. His mom, his dad, his grandmother, his uncle, his personal trainer named Arnold Snuffin-Uppenegger. And I got to work on the first Sesame Street movie, Follow That Bird. We even did a great special that a lot of people don't know about. It's called Don't Eat the Pictures, and it was when they got locked overnight at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. And that's a great special. And then the dream come true was getting my own character, Bear, for Bear in the Big Blue House on Disney Channel.
Did you ever get a chance to work with the man himself, Jim Henson?
I did. I did work with Jim. In fact, I would often do like his right hand, being Ernie, or one time I got to even do his right hand one time for Kermit. But Jim was a very special guy. He was very quiet. He was that boss you wanted to please, and he was very soft-spoken. But when you put a puppet on him, he and Frank together especially would just have the entire crew cracking up, because they would just keep going. Like there was one Bert and Ernie scene where Bert and Ernie are in bed, and Ernie, of course, has the last line, and then Bert says something else, and then they just start ad-libbing back and forth, going on and on and on about you always get the last line. It's like, well, because the director always liked you best. Well, you get more close-ups, and just kept going on and on, and it was great.
I've done a little bit of fiddling around with puppets myself. How long does it take before the intense pain goes away?
It's all muscle memory. So the longer you do it, the longer your muscles realize, oh, I need to be up this long in order to do this. So really, putting your hand all the way up over your head, God never really designed your body to do that. So it's just a matter of time. You just keep doing it a little bit each day, and you just get used to it. So, for example, Carol Spinney has been doing Big Bird and Oscar ever since day one. And Sesame just started season 45. Taping, and the guy is still doing it. So there's muscle memory at its best.
I've always been impressed by puppet systems like Bear with the being full body. What's it like being in one of those?
It's great. Luckily, I'm not claustrophobic because it's very close, but it's a great technology. I called Bear was the Big Bird technology, meaning I had a little TV monitor, a little TV set strapped to my chest, and there was a little microphone right here. And then I would put my arm up inside his neck and put my left hand in his arm. And then there was a little string that went from his left hand through a ring to his right hand. So it was counterlever. And that's exactly how Big Bird works. So you just walk around. And what's great about walk around is that you can just walk around. You can walk out. Like, you can just walk off set if you want to. So if you get tired, it's like, I'm leaving. And you just keep going. You just keep walking.
You've done so many well-loved characters over your time as a puppeteer. What's it mean to you to make so many children happy?
Well, it's really funny because a lot of the children now are grown-ups. So my resume is most people's childhood memory. In fact, here at the con, a lot of people remember a show I worked on called Eureka's Castle, which was on Nickelodeon, and you yourself mentioned The Puzzle Place, which I worked on. And there's even a few older people who remember a show called The Great Space Coaster, and I worked on that as well as a character called Knock Knock. So it's really gratifying, especially when I get emails and fan letters from kids who are now teenagers who remember Bear, but also from moms with kids with special needs who still watch Bear with their kids because it was such a gentle, soft-spoken show that wasn't in your face. And it's actually inspired me to do my own show. I'm going to be doing like a Kickstarter Indigo campaign next year to try and have my own show, very similar in sort of that tone of Bear, because there's not that kind of show on right now. And television won't do it. The networks won't put on a puppet show. In fact, Nickelodeon has on its little pitch for producers, no puppets, please. So the networks aren't going to do puppets anymore, but I'm still going to do it. And so that's why I'm going to ask people for the help to do a show that, you know, we can all be proud of, especially if it helps kids.
And hopefully you'll get funded like that.
Exactly. So this is such the immediate age. You put something on and immediately it gets noticed and it gets talked about, and you just keep that momentum going. So hopefully it will get picked up and we can keep it going. But I want to make it available online for families so that everybody has a device, it seems. My own mother has a Kindle. She loves it. She's 82 years old. So, I mean, and it's been proven that iPads and the apps for it really help kids with autism and special needs. So if I want to do a show that's sort of built around that philosophy so that it's easy for them to connect with the world again.
It must get tiring being so child-friendly most of the time. Do you just go crazy and be weird with the puppets sometimes?
You have no idea the outtakes on some of these kid shows. There are outtakes we can never, ever show. In fact, the first season of The Puzzle Place, the outtakes were so raunchy it was rated R and it was destroyed. So the second season we held back so this way we could get a copy of the second season. But yeah, there's always that, you know, that little temptation to go to the dark side, and we do it.
I would pay money to see those outtakes.
Oh yeah, some of those outtakes of the shows I've worked on, yeah, you won't be seeing them on YouTube unless, you know, I really just want to burn every bridge I've ever known.
Most people might not know you did animatronic puppetry for Raphael and Ninja Turtles 3.
Yes.
Now the upcoming film, they're moving on to digital, and a lot of films now have just done away with animatronics and puppetry for special effects. Do you think this really hinders films not having this more realistic look to their special effects?
I think it's the whole prejudice against puppets, because when somebody thinks of puppets, they think of something cheesy or, you know, something that's thrown together. I mean, in my opinion, the movie Ted should have been a puppet. There's no reason why he had to be computer generated. It should have been a puppet. What's nice is the movie Oz, the Great and Powerful, they actually used puppets in scenes in order to give the actors a reference point. So like the little China girl, she was actually a marionette and a rod puppet sometimes so that James Franco could actually interact with it. So I know there's an age of this going towards the computer animation, but it doesn't always have to be that way. Like, for instance, the Muppets. They have a new movie coming out next year. They're still puppets, so...
Are there any puppets coming up on any shows that you might have a hand in, literally?
Well, let's see. I'm trying to think. There's so many. Actually, I'm doing a live puppet show. It's not on TV, but it's at the Bronx Zoo, currently at the Bronx Zoo, every weekend in October and the first weekend in November, plus this coming Columbus Day Monday. And it's a show that I wrote and a friend and I did the music for, and it's called Beasts of the Magical World. And it's how the magical beasts are also ones that exist in our world, like owls and snakes and frogs and even dragons. They do exist in our world too. They're just called Komodo dragons. So we're doing that. So that's my current thing. And then I also have another project coming up in Miami. So I am keeping busy. And I'm also going to be actually doing a master class in Australia in February at Earth. Earth is this great company that does huge, almost, they're not animatronic, but they're these huge puppet dinosaurs. And I've been fortunate to be in their show, Earth Dinosaur Zoo. at the new Victory Theater, so he invited me to do a master class and teach puppetry, similar to what I just did inside, and how you can translate it onto the stage. So I am keeping busy.
And of course, your 2 books.
And my 2 books, 10-minute puppets, and then my new book coming out in November called Box.
And then your Kickstarter.
And then my Kickstarter. Just gotta keep it busy, just gotta keep it going. Because, dreams come true, but sometimes you gotta give it a good kick in the pants.
Well, thank you so very much for talking with us, and enjoy your rest of the time here at the New York Comic Con.
Yes, you too. Come to the con. New York Comic Con is great. It's got nothing. It's like San Diego, come to New York. New York is great.